Okay, let's go.
He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
Car. Roses would be.
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have,
you'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns, what's right? I want a man's coolant.
and he's like, "Oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light."
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West. Internet.
Is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke.
It loves to be driven hard.
All right, welcome to Auto Off Topic. Hello, Brad. How are you?
I am wonderful, Andrew. How are you doing in your late night recording session out there?
It's hot. I'm in a different place. There's no air conditioning, so in the middle of the heat wave.
You guys hit 100 today, or at least close, right?
We hit 100 with like 80% humidity.
So you hit 100 plus humidity, or you hit 100 because of the humidity? The real feel was 100.
Real feel was over 100, like 104, 105.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it was 90, 97 here today.
Ooh, cooled way off.
No, it's actually, when you guys left, obviously the jet you were in took the jet stream of warm air behind it. And it's been actually like to spoil the beginning of one of the not projects, but one of the things I did last week. I went off-roading with Josh and Michael, or this week. And we were out in the desert, and it was downright reasonable. It felt like it was fall. So it was nice. Which is extra good because the truck doesn't have AC.
Yeah. So I had today off, and I just floated around the lake all day.
Yeah, that's a pretty good day for that kind of a day, for sure.
But anyway, yeah, we missed a week because I visited you out in Arizona, but we visited family and you, and we met with family, and we went to San Diego for the NASCAR race.
And we missed the week before because we recorded an episode, and my internet took a dump, and we lost the whole episode.
Hey, I forgot. Yeah, we talked about we were gonna go to the NASCAR race. But yeah, we actually went. And speaking of weather, it was wonderful in San Diego.
As it always is.
Yeah, it was like as soon as we left Phoenix, got through Yuma and like up and over the mountains and then dropped down into San Diego, it was like 25, 30 degrees cooler. It was like in the 70s.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And breezy. So we went to San Diego, and the race was on Coronado, the air base, which was interesting. It's actually a naval air base. I guess that makes sense. It's so funny when you think about, you're like, because people are like, "Oh, it was on the Air Force base." Like, sort of. It's a naval base.
Yeah.
So there's.
I mean, I can see the confusion because the Air Force and the Navy both had airplanes.
Yep. Like give you
The Air Force ones are just not based on aircraft carriers.
Yep. Exactly. Give you 1 second here. See if I can get the dog. I have the door closed in the room. I think he wants to leave. But what about the race? Well, what do we do first?
We can talk the race real quick. I mean, it was probably the highlight of your trip. It was the main reason you came out here. So we might as well discuss the event. It was pretty well run, to talk about the event itself. The only issue we had was leaving after the cup race. But I think anytime you have a large event with thousands and thousands of spectators on a place that does not usually handle spectators or the public, it's going to be difficult to get them all to leave at the end, right? Because it's one road in, one road out. So,
Yeah.
and
So I never
ultimately, at the end of the day, it wasn't even that big a deal. I mean, it was probably what, 2.5 hours? Like,
Yeah.
it went pretty smoothly once it started moving.
It did, but we don't normally do the O'Reilly Series races when you go to a race weekend. You usually just buy tickets to the Cup race, but the way they sold these tickets, it basically included both races. So we're like, yeah, might as well check it out both days and at least do some reconnaissance and figure out how it's going to work for the Cup race, and just familiarize with the racetrack, in air quotes. So it was a temporary street circuit set up on the Navy base, uh, with, you know, the same the security you would expect for, but it was basically like,
Yeah.
I thought it'd be more like TSA. It wasn't really TSA level security. It was just
Nope.
some service members checking IDs. You just had to have a federal ID or a state ID, I should say, and then it was like normal event security. But basically, you're limited to very small bags. No, you couldn't bring in drinks, water, booze, nothing.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
different from most NASCAR races. Most NASCAR races, you can bring in your own cooler full of anything in a non-glass bottle. But
Right.
this race was very different because of military base.
yeah, and so that was like mostly the problem was they just, if you're gonna limit what people can bring in, you have to have more food and water than you think,
Yep.
especially for a hot day. It wasn't super hot, but it was hot enough, and there's enough people there. And I appreciated that they did like food trucks, and the food was really, really good, but it took way too long to get it because it's food trucks. And they're not used to dealing with thousands of people trying to get food at once.
It would have been nice to have the food trucks plus also like a typical hot dog carts everywhere or something. So you could choose one or the other. Like the chicken shawarma was delicious, but was it worth an hour and 15-minute wait in two lines to get it?
You
Probably
needed
not.
you needed somebody with, yeah, hot dog cart and a fryer just dunking fries and chicken fingers and just
Yep.
tossing those out quick.
Turn and burn.
But anyway, and that turns some people off, but we were there for the weekend because we traveled there. So we got in a little bit earlier the next day for the Cup race. I mean, I shouldn't skip ahead because the O'Reilly Series race was really good though,
It
except for
was.
the red flag issues.
It was a very long race, which so a couple things happened on that Saturday race, the O'Reilly's race. We were able to do our reconnaissance for the next day, right? Like the next day, we knew not to wait until like actual lunchtime to get food. Like get it a little early so you can beat the line. And we also learned how to like get in and out and navigate around. So on the day of the Cup race, we were able to spend most of our time, catch the whole race, not worry about it. Whereas during the O'Reilly's race, the combo of waiting a little later to get food and then also having all those red flag laps or red flag time, more people were getting food. So I think that's kind of what screwed it all up. But then even leaving after the O'Reilly race was easy because there was so many red flag laps that people left early. I shouldn't say red flag laps. That's the weird way to say it. So much red flag time that people left early because it went from like a 3 hour event to like what, 6 or 7 hours?
Yeah, I mean, you and Naomi stayed, but the rest of us actually left because Marco was getting tired. It was late. There was like a middle of red flag. I don't even remember what the last red flag was for. Did they had a big wreck that moved the wall? Or that was during the truck race. I don't
No, they
remember
did it
what the
also during that race. There was but
yeah,
one point they had to fix the wall.
okay. Because the first red flag was a manhole cover that came up and got stuck in, I forget whose car that was.
Yeah, I don't remember names either, especially of the series that I don't normally watch.
No, but a non-regular, well, a regular guy won who doesn't normally win on road courses. Was it Austin Hill? Um, who's filling
Yes,
in for Kyle Busch
he fills
in
it in the Cup
Cup
series for
Series.
Kyle Busch. Yeah,
Yep. Um, so that was cool, but it was a cool race. They just didn't let any other, for whatever reason, they didn't let any other Cup Series drivers run it, just because I think they wanted everybody to go cold into the next day
Well,
and
I
give
think it was a
everybody a fair
combination of
shot.
wanting everybody to go cold the next day, but I also think that they wanted to give as many O'Reilly Series drivers as possible the chance to drive on that course.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, we were over by turn 9, which I don't know, for some reason when I bought the tickets, I thought the race was going in the other direction, but it still worked out pretty good. They were decent seats. I would
Yeah,
have
there
liked
are
to be
decent
up
seats.
maybe a little higher or more or more over to the right to look down the straight that we're so we'd see the corner coming up and the corner going away. But it worked out. It was good. There was a good TV right in front of us so we could see what was going on. But
I mean,
that's the
any road
way.
course you go to, or street course especially, you're going to have limited sight lines because it's not a big oval, out in front of you. And it's not a permanent course either. So there's not like huge stands built up somewhere. It's all portable grandstands. So your view is always going to be compromised. It's like going to a rally, right? You can only see when the action's right in front of you. And you did an excellent job picking a spot because a lot of action happened right in front of us. It was definitely a good passing zone, and there was a couple of spins, a couple good passes, and on the Cup Series day, a tire was lost right in front of us. So it was a turned out to be a pretty good spot.
Yes. Um, yeah. So O'Reilly's race ended up being really good. And then Cup race was cool. Like we got there early enough that we were able to walk around, see a bunch of stuff. They had a lot of cool things like they had aircraft on display. Um, it was a really interesting setup in the way they did a street circuit. And I think, they did Chicago and they did this. And I think they were trying to figure out ways to do races where there aren't normal NASCAR tracks and get more people in because I think you had the facts. We should have pulled them up beforehand, but this event had the most not like first time NASCAR goers like in a long time at a race.
And percentage was pretty high. I'll see if I can pull it up real quick because I was talking about it before. Um, it was a huge percentage of people that had never seen NASCAR race. The percentage of women that went, percentage of minorities that went, percentage of it was just a whole interesting thing of how they got different people to spectate the race, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess it kind of turned into like the hot ticket that weekend in San Diego. So there's a lot of people showing up for it. Um, and I still think
So
it's
it
better
was
than Formula One.
125,000 people came through the gates,
Yep.
and it was. I just saw the number. 67% of the people were attending their first NASCAR event.
Nice.
So that's a huge number, 67%. That was 11% higher female attendance than normal. Just it was interesting to see that all those, and you could tell that a lot of people didn't know a lot of what was going on. And of course, we're there in our NASCAR hats and gear, and a couple people asked questions. I guess we just looked experienced. Like I was wearing my 23 hat, and the lady was like, "Oh, is that a hat for one of the drivers?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's for Bubba Wallace." And she's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "The only 23 I know is Michael Jordan." And I was like, "Well, funny enough, the reason they're number 23 is he owns the team." And she was like, "What? No way. All right, I'm rooting for that car."
All right. Well, there you go.
So, yeah. So it was a first time fan and a female attendee, and she was way into it. So she's definitely part of the stats.
Yeah, I would say the visuals are really cool too. With they had an aircraft carrier park there, uh, and just the way they set up the track, and you know, uh, it was funny online beforehand. You always have people that were just like, "This is dumb. It's not going to work. It's going to look bad." It looked pretty cool. They did a pretty good job with it, actually. I'm glad we went. Um, I don't know if they're going to do it again. Maybe It's like a
I think they
question mark.
confirmed they are.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure if I'd go again, but like back to back, but it was a pretty good race.
if it wasn't like 4 to 5 times the cost of going to any other NASCAR race, I'd
yeah,
say yes,
exactly.
I'd go back. But the cost was a bit prohibitive to go back every year. So
Exactly. Um, and in hindsight, I kind of didn't realize that they were doing Sonoma the next weekend. I was like, oh, we should have just done like a West Coast swing while we're just in it. It just said
I
YOLO, did
was
it.
I was tempted to go back to Sonoma the following weekend. And Naomi and I actually had a serious conversation about it to the point where I was looking up flights. Um, but rather than driving, because Sonoma's about a 9 or 10 hour drive from here. Um, so I was looking up flights and thinking about driving and going back and forth. And just at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? No, not going to do it. Unfortunately, it's too much right now. It's too much going on. But
Nope,
and
nope, nope.
flights were like 400 to 500 round trip, which was not an affordable price for that weekend. So
But yeah, it was
next year,
overall, um, the cup race was good. And, we were there for qualifying on Saturday. Um, SVG qualified on the pole, right? Am I thinking right? Yes, he did.
maybe. Okay,
He did. He did not get the pole at Sonoma.
right.
And I think there's reasons for that. But he did get the pole on the street course. Uh and he was out there pretty quickly. There was a couple challenges, but he pretty quickly got out the lead. And then it was interesting. I think the turning point of the race was they switched. Christopher Bell has a broken wrist, and they switched him for I can't remember the kid's name now. Um, but during a caution for some other thing, maybe it was the caution when Bubba lost the wheel early on.
I think it
Got a
was
2 lap
earlier than
penalty.
that.
So regardless, it was a caution, and they switched out. It's like these things happen, and I'm like, commit them to memory, Andrew. Remember this person's name because you want to talk about it on the podcast, and then I completely forget because I'm really bad at sports names and remembering the people. And this kid does not normally run. He was just filling in, but regardless, he's filling in the 20 car. Goes out, he's doing some laps. Something happened in the 20 car and it blew up. They were like, oh, maybe he's not used to shifting a sequential and he over rev. And it's like, how do you do that? It's up, 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 and down, down, down. Like there's no H pattern. You can't really miss a shift. So anyway, the 20 blows up mid track. So that causes a caution. Um, Everybody re-racks. And I think at that point, Austin Hill had gotten out to the lead, which was pretty cool because that was the winner the day before. But he had Zilch right behind him and SVG right behind him, Zilch. And then, yeah, you can go watch the replay of them just, I don't know. It was weird.
Is-
Like Austin Hill
Those
just maybe,
three, those three drivers were probably the top 3 predictions to win the race, and they were running 1, 2, 3 when this happened.
yes. And maybe, and maybe it was just Austin Hill not having enough experience on a road course as much as even, I mean, Zilch is pretty young, but he's really good on road courses. He seemingly like didn't get a good or lost some speed going into I think it was like turn 3 or 4. I forget that big turn where they all,
I think it's 4.
is the one that heads to the downhill where the jump was, which was pretty insane. Um, and they just got, like, he slowed up, Zilch gave him room, and SVG was like, I'm full bore here because I thought everybody else was going full bore, and he just ran the two of them over. Um, and it was just like a huge wreck. So you had 2 Trackhouse cars out, the 2 best Trackhouse cars. The day before winner's out, and that really changed the whole outcome of the race right there. That was it.
It
That
did.
was what
It
changed it.
did. Christopher Bell's fill-in driver is Brent Cruz.
Yeah, so Brent Cruz whatever happened to the car, that 20 car blowing up caused that caution, and that's what changed the race. Like had that not
And
happened,
they said he missed the shift, but then in the replay, it turns out it may have been that he broke the transaxle,
okay,
and then the car over revved because it wasn't in any gears.
ah, fistful of neutrals. Yeah, but that's weird how that stuff happens. Like if you you think of like it's like the Domino's meme there where the guy's setting it up and it's Brent Cruz blowing up and then uh the two trackhouse cars getting wrecked.
Yep.
So
But it made for an interesting finish, and it made for a first time Cup Series winner. So
it blew the race wide open, right? And then all of a sudden, uh, uh put your conspiracy hat on. The Toyotas were suddenly very fast. Um, and you had Corey Heim, who's won a lot in the trucks, who's very good in the trucks. He's won at Lime Rock in the trucks. Um, and other road courses, I think, in the trucks. He ended up out front leading. Patriotic was chasing him. Uh, Somehow Bubba Wallace made up the 2 lap penalty.
I was
And was
telling you
chasing.
during the race, I was like, man, he's the only guy a lap down. He had the penalty from the wheel falling off from his crew not putting it on right. And the whole race, I kept saying to you, I was like, man, he's the only guy a lap down. He gets 1 lap back each yellow, and his car is so fast. He might have a chance to like get back up there. And I don't know if he took me seriously or not, but I was like, I think he has a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it was a 3.5 long road course, 3.5 mile road course. And I think that's what gave him the
Yeah,
advantage to getting it back.
yeah. But
Um,
also having a fast car, like that helps too.
yeah, and honestly, towards the end there was a battle between Heim and uh, Reddick. No, these are all 2311 cars, all 3 of them. And Reddick kind of messed up and gave Heim some space instead of wrecking him because they probably, you know, sort of saw what happened to Trackhouse earlier in the race.
It's a
Uh,
bad look to take out all the team cars in one corner.
yeah. So he backed off and then lost a tire, and Wallace passed him. And had that not happened, they would have had 2311 first, second, third, which would have been pretty crazy. But ended up the fastest Chevy was Carl Larson, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, yeah. But you talk about the tinfoil hat and your Toyota theories that are all out over the place. But if you look at the finish of the race, Toyota may have finished 1, 2, but in the top 15, there's only 4 cars that are Toyotas. So it's not like there was a dominating performance out there of all just Toyotas. So there's more Chevys and Fords than there are Toyotas in the top 15.
Even Hamlin finished pretty well and got himself some points.
Yeah, I think he's one of the 4 in the top 15, but not by much.
Yeah.
But no, it was a heck of a finish, and Bubba's never been good on road courses, and he finished second after being 2 laps down. So
Yeah.
I was super stoked. I thought for a while there it was going to be him, Heim, and uh, Reddick 1, 2, 3, and I would be inconsolably annoying. Inconsolably annoying isn't the wrong word to say it. I would be incredibly annoying talking about how great that the 1, 2, 3, 2311 finish was if it happened because that's my
Yeah.
team. So, but Bubba drove the 43 car when we got back into NASCAR,
Yeah.
and I was always a fan of Richard Petty growing up in the 43 car, so I naturally became a Bubba fan just because of that. So I followed him to 2311, and here we are.
Yeah, and then it's cool because we got to see a first time winner in Cup Series. He's not even doesn't even have a regular series ride yet.
Yeah, the
So that
irony is he gets no points because he doesn't need points because he's not in the regular series.
yeah, so bodes well for him for his career, so that's good.
For
And then
sure.
what was funny too is they were giving out free like trading cards to the first 10,000 people through the gate or whatever. Um, and we were there early enough that we all got some, and Marco opened up his pack, and there was a Corey Heim card right
Yep.
in there. So we're like, all
Which
right,
is cool
saving
because each
that.
one only had one driver card.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah,
So,
we're saving that because that's like
yeah,
a cool thing.
there
Um,
probably aren't many of them.
nope. Um, yeah, I should look it up on eBay after the podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was yeah, it was worth going. Like I said, I don't know if I'd go again right away, but if you have a chance to go next year, I would definitely check it out. I'd like to go to another road course. I'd really love to go to Sonoma. Sonoma was this past weekend. Um, that was interesting because uh, annoying Ty Gibbs was on the pole. I was like, wow, that was unexpected. And I think sort of purposely because going into the Coronado race and this two race series of road courses, it was very much after Denny Hamlin won 3 in a row. It was very much all about SVG. Everybody's like, SVG is going to win these two races. This whole thing, there's a lot of pressure on him, right? And it felt like when they went to Sonoma, they kind of sandbagged it a bit, maybe in qualifying, just to kind of probably give him some breathing room. And said we don't need to really show off what we've got for speed in qualifying. Um, that felt like a tactical decision or something, maybe. But in the end, he ended up winning Sonoma too. So both days actually, the O'Reillys and the Cup Series, which you know there'll be, of course, people would be like, "God, they're going back to ovals now. Tired of these road courses." Which I don't know. The car runs good on a road course. I think the lower aero and the higher horsepower and the tire that wears out, I think makes the road course racing pretty interesting. And I mean, some guys are adapting. I mean, did you see the beginning of the Sonoma race? Like Carl Larson was doing pretty good. The end of the race, Chase Briscoe was doing pretty good too. Like it,
Chase Briscoe finished second Sonoma last year too.
yeah. So these guys are figuring it out.
Sure.
They're figuring out how to manage those tires. So yeah. This coming week is Chicagoland Speedway, which is a mile and a half. That should be a good race.
Mile and a
Should be
half
pretty
are the
interesting.
best ovals right now.
Yep. So looking forward to that. But that's our that's that part of our trip. The rest of the time was spent in Arizona. I was hanging out with you
Sort
some of
of.
the
I mean,
time.
we spent what 4 days in California and 4 days in
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, we didn't do much other car stuff in California. I wanted to talk about you were able to take me over to your friends over at Italian Racing Design. Um, that shop is super, super cool. They're super nice over there. Uh, I mean, if you've got a Ferrari that's like right from like the 60s through the 80s, those are your guys, I
Even
guess.
even up to the early 2000s, he does up through 575s and
Yeah,
360s and 430s.
not exactly our listeners. Sorry, sorry, listeners. But
No, whatever. I mean, listen, there's
actually,
we talk
w-
we talk about this. Go ahead.
actually, we do have one. We have one listener. That is a 450, 468, 456, 456.
460T. Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
the
we
one
have Michael
person.
from IDR who also listens and has a plethora of Ferraris, so it's fine. So the difference with, we're not a supercar podcast, right? There's a million supercar podcasts you can
What are you
listen
talking
to.
about? I was about to tell you about my new Rolex I just got.
Right, exactly. But what drew me to Michael's shop in the first place was knowing Michael. He's not a supercar person. He's very much a get in there and get your hands dirty DIY kind of guy. And he's mostly self-taught on this stuff, and he's really good with all of it. But he has a super cool shop. It's like you think of a Ferrari shop and you think of like, I don't know, what you see on Instagram, right? Like the pristine, clean place that doesn't do a lot of actual work in-house and just has a coffee shop on premises and just has a bunch of mucky bucks walking around. But this is like a legit workshop. Like it reminds me of looking at footage from like old school shops back, like pictures from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Like I'm not trying to do a disservice by saying it's dirty, but it's like got a gritty shop feel to it, right? And it's got, all the bridge ports and English wheels and stuff that they all use, along with the new 3D printers and everything to make cars in the modern age. And there's some wild stuff going on in that shop. Like you walk out back and there's two LM002s and 308 race cars and 308 or 328 Koenig, like just hanging out. And a couple other non-Ferraris are back there too. You know, you look at the Elan and the Jaguar. There's neat stuff around. It's a cool shop, and if you're in the Arizona, Phoenix area, and you want to see a cool shop, I'm sure Michael will love to show you around if you're a listener of the podcast, especially. So it's a really cool shop to see. Just it's a very old school like craftsman style shop. That's what I want to say. Like think of like old coach builders from back in the day, and they do that stuff there. They build cars from nothing. So neat stuff.
Sure was, and I appreciate being
Yeah,
able to see it.
for sure.
Um, yeah, that was one of the things we did. We didn't really do much else, just because it was so hot. There's not a lot of car stuff going on at the time. I did get to see your garage finally finished. I mean, would you call it finished? It seems finished to me. You've got air conditioning in there now.
I mean,
Your doors are on.
it's yeah, it's not like its final stage. It's gonna get lifts and it's gonna get more decorated, but it's a functional space that is the last time you were here, I think we had walls up but no doors, or maybe not
Yeah.
even drywall yet.
Yeah.
But now it's drywall, garage doors, air conditioning, power. Like I do projects in there. So I'd say it's finished. It's just not fully personalized. And you can tell probably by the way the left rear corner of the left back corner of the garage is. That's I'm filling it with stuff on the walls, the whole place like that. So it's going to be slightly overwhelming when you walk in there. But that's okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. I like the space. We got to play with your soccer track and
You know, we pulled the slot
um,
car track out for Marco. He had a great time with that.
worked on your RC car. We got that set up. That was pretty much the only other thing we did, kind of car related, because it's unfortunately didn't have, like you said, didn't have the AC working in the stereo, and so it was really too hot to use it. Um, but yeah, we went out. Um, there's several drift tracks now near you, but we only went to the one that was closest. Um, I was able to do like a bass tune on your car, which is good, and got you out there drifting. So now you get a summertime uh project or a summertime hobby you can do
Yeah.
inside air conditioning.
I haven't used it again since that night, but I'll be back probably this weekend. I'll go back at some point and run a couple packs through it.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it immensely. But yeah, we have 3 drift tracks now in the area,
Hmm.
so it's good. That one's
And I brought
less than 10 minutes from my house, so it's probably the one I'll go to the most. But
yeah, and I brought mine. So that was super fun to bring it and use it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
And unfortunately, you only had like 2 days in Phoenix proper,
Mhm.
so it was a little bit whirlwind while you were here. So you didn't get to we didn't get to work on stuff, or I was hoping you were gonna be here long enough you could help me get the AC working in the Starion, but that's all right. That's
yeah,
project for after recording that actually.
I did get to. We're up north in the Prescott area and visiting my nieces and nephews and my brother-in-law, and they're all into RC crawlers. So that was cool. I got to go out and do actual proper RC crawling with Marco. We went out. They took us to this area called the Dells, which is all rocks, but it's just public land. You can just drive little RC trucks all over these rocks. And you're like, oh, I get why this is so popular out here because there's just stuff to do it everywhere outside. Just do it.
It's funny, the only place I've ever randomly seen somebody out running RC rock crawlers, like, in the public was up at the Dells.
Yep.
I was
Yep.
driving past, like, "Oh, that guy's running an RC car. It's cool."
Yep. As we were walking out or walking in, some guys were walking out carrying their stuff. So they just finished up.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a neat, like, outdoor hobby for sure.
Hmm. So yeah, that was pretty much that trip.
We did get to take Marco to the Penske Museum because
Oh,
his
that's
hero
right.
driver's car is there, so that was good.
Yeah, who did terrible over the weekend, over both weekends, I think. Or maybe he did all right at Coronado, but he's having a bad year, Logano in
Yeah, he's
general.
not having a good year at all.
So
He finished 18th at Coronado.
yeah.
But his 2013, I think, Cup Championship car is on display at the Penske Museum,
Hmm.
and Marco is 6 now, right?
That's
And
right.
his face lit up immediately when he saw the car, so it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It was cool. Um, all right. we do have a bit of a topic this week since it is 4th of July week and this podcast comes out on the 3rd of July. I wanted to talk about Bicentennial Edition cars because I don't think for some reason I haven't seen any 250th anniversary edition cars. Have you?
I think I've seen a couple like dealer add-on packages, but I've not seen anything like officially from a manufacturer.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything either. The only thing that I've noticed, like Massachusetts did the plate. I have the plate, the 250 plate. But they actually came out that last year. That was for Massachusetts' 250th anniversary. But it works because they threw the
Sure.
1776 on there. And I've seen some other states do some, but that's pretty much it.
Corvette is doing something, I think. I'd have to look it up. I remember hearing something about a run of red, white, and blue cars. I think that they've done up like the Grand Sports again. Remember like
Oh,
96 Grand Sport? I think they're
yeah.
doing a 2026 of that. I'd have to look it up though, but I haven't seen anything else yet.
So, like, I posted this to the Discord, and a question I got back was what modern model should have had a 250th anniversary special edition? And my answer was, for some reason, I mean, the F-250 was right there. I don't know why they didn't do it, right?
Right. That makes perfect
Mm.
sense.
Yeah, it's like one of the best selling trucks, and you could have just done it right there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No question. Yeah. The
and some,
manufacturers went hard in 76. No question.
yeah, and then somebody else said a missed opportunity for the Dodge to do a special edition Hellcat.
Yep.
Um, there's no Bronco either. Someone said, um,
It's already a red, white, and blue Bronco though.
which is kind of weird. I didn't realize.
Well, I mean, it's not weird if you know the history of Bronco racing when they were new. Like it's
Ooh.
painted like the original Bill. Is it Bill Strope? Somebody Strope. It's called the Strope edition because that was the Baja Bronco back in the day. But
Oh.
it's not marketed very well, and it's also not very good looking. So it doesn't really work that well. Yeah, there was a special edition of that car back in the day too. So yeah, the F-250 is definitely one that would be a no-brainer, like an F-250 250 or a
Yeah.
250 F-250. But the Corvette probably makes the most sense.
Yeah. And the Cadillac F1 team is going to do a livery, but all the race cars have been doing that. There's so many American flag race cars for this past race. So,
Sure.
um, yeah, it's just strange because, like, right in uh 76 there was like the Ford did it. Um, you could get Chevy trucks. Um, apparently,
You get Chevy
um,
cars. I mean, all Chevys had a 200th
well,
anniversary package.
well, supposedly the Chevy started in 74, which was interesting, but the cars.
They did. Yeah,
Um,
they're called Spirit of America. That was the name of
yeah,
their package, and all these red, white, and blue. So they're all white base cars with red and blue stripes with a badge and white interiors.
I didn't
So
realize the 76 Eldorado convertible. They did a bicentennial edition of just the convertible because it was going to be the last American convertible built. Um, and they did 200 of them, and 199 were sold to the public, and GM kept the last one. And they were basically don't look that much different than a regular white Eldorado convertible. They had like some red, white, and blue pinstriping, but that's about it. And a
well, that's
badge
that's
that said,
all of these things were just stripes and badges.
yeah.
Like Dodges, so Chevy was the Spirit of America cars from 74 to 76, or
Hmm.
maybe just 74. I don't remember. But
Yeah.
Dodge did one that the quarter panel had a little decal that said Spirit of 76, and it had
Yep.
red and blue, like gradient stripes on the side. And then Mustang and Ford in general had the Sprints, which were the same color combo, but I don't know if they were actually officially a 200th anniversary package. So I think it all just kind of came out at the same time, and it was like a maybe not outwardly a Spirit of 76 package, but it was a 76 package. So the Chevy trucks are the coolest ones because they have the most ridiculous stripe package.
Yeah, they're like light blue with like red, white, and blue in the center part of the square
Yeah, where the
body.
two-tone would be. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are very, very cool. I guess they're super rare. And there's not like it's seemingly like when I was looking it up, there's a lot of posts about people trying to determine if this truck was that because it's been like repainted since the
Sure.
70s. And that's usually seems to be what happens. And um, in fact, one of the articles was like, I couldn't find a picture of a real one. So here's a picture of the Auto World diecast of one.
Yeah. Which I have
Yeah.
somewhere.
But yeah, you had
I guess
the
Ford also did a bicentennial option that was gold and white.
Yep.
Because the gold was an eagle that had like a streak behind it, and the eagle was carrying like a stars and bars kind of motif in its talons. So,
Now, was AMC already out by 76?
oh
Because,
no, no, AMC lasted till '86.
oh, right. But they didn't seem to have any special editions, which is interesting.
I mean, they made the most patriotic cars ever
I know. You
before
would
that
think they would have
already.
done a, yeah, you would
Yeah,
think they would have done a special one. But,
I mean, because you could have bought an AMX that was the livery of the Trans Am car, so it's
Mhm.
like the first 2/3 of the car were red, and then like a small like white stripe, and the back, I don't know, quarter is blue. And then they had the the Rambler Scrambler was all red, white, and blue. It was a white car with a red side panels and the blue stripe over the top. And they even had what was the Rebel called that had the special package? The AMC Rebel. Oh, the Machine, the Rebel Machine.
Yes. Yep.
That was the red, white, and blue package as well. So they were definitely full on the red, white, and blue American race cars before the actual 200th anniversary. Maybe that's why they didn't do it. They were just like, we did this before. We're all done.
Yeah, I guess so. I like the International Harvester Scout 2 that they did. They had a Spirit of 76 and a Patriot edition. So,
Okay. I think there was a Jeep. What's the name of the Jeep? Not the CJ at the time, but the one that was like the passenger version of the Jeep. There was a red, white, and blue version of that too. I don't know if it was for the anniversary or not though. A Jeep was it not Commander? That's the newer one. Was it called a Commander back then? My Jeep knowledge is normally good. They had a convertible. Was it a removable hardtop? No, this is horrible radio. Um,
well,
and I hate it.
did you um did you know that there was a Beetle Bicentennial edition?
I did not know that. No.
Yep. 1976 Volkswagen Super Beetle convertible Bicentennial edition, officially designated as the limited edition Volkswagen convertible for the U.S. market. It says VW timed the release perfectly with June 1976 celebrations. Maybe that should be July, but and it said many dealerships affixed local Bicentennial dash plaques to them upon delivery. So you can actually get a Beetle. I've seen pictures of this one. It's kind of funny.
That's neat. It looks
Yep.
like the International was actually for the U.S. ski team,
Oh,
and only 17
interesting.
of them were ever made.
Kind of like the Subarus, the wagons they had.
Sure, yeah, the '84
I think so.
U.S. ski team, maybe,
Whew.
or and for our camp, not in my favorite Olympic edition is the 1984 Mitsubishis because they were the official car of the Sarajevo Olympics. So I could talk about that before, but yeah, I can't remember the name of that stupid Jeep, the one that they did a red, white, and blue red, white, and blue version of it. It was a Jeepster, I think they called it still.
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm Googling live now because now I don't know. I don't usually like to do that, but
All right. So the other question I had was it's 1976. You're all amped up. You want to buy a bicentennial edition car. Which one are you going to buy?
Oh. So I just found it finally. The red, white, and blue Jeepster was actually 1970. It was a Hearst edition, so never mind.
Yeah.
Jeepster Commando, that's what they call the thing. Jeep Commando. All right, what would I buy in 76 that came in a red, white, and blue package?
Yeah.
Does it have to be an officially red, white, and blue bicentennial car?
So there's two parts to this question. So yes, you need to pick a bicentennial car, and then we'll talk about 1976 because it's a really interesting year for cars.
So can we go to 74 because that's when the GM cars came out?
So you want a Spirit of America?
I want a Vega.
Okay. All right.
I want a Vega. That's probably what I'd buy. If I had to go 76, I'd probably go with the Dart, the Dodge Dart, because it was like the sport Dodge Dart Sport, so it had like the fastback roof, like a Duster. It was the Dart Duster basically. So that's if I had to go 76, that's what I'd go. But me and my love of weird little small cars, I would probably take a Spirit of America Vega. What about yourself?
I'd go with one of these square bodies of the Spirit 76. I think that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good
'Cause
choice because I need you to tow my Vega around because my Vega is not going to run very well.
Yeah, that's where I'd end up. Now, 1976. What a crazy year for cars, right? So you're in the middle, you're post catalytic converters. We're really getting into the malaise era, but I had to like look it up. There was so much more available in the US market for cars that is not available today. So, like, you could get Peugeot still, Fiats, Triumphs, MGs, uh, AMCs, right? So, like, out of 1976, is there a particular car you would have bought? Because even that's when, right, that's when the Chrysler Mitsus came in too.
Yeah, that's 6 years after they came in, 1970, the first ones, but
But they were available. That's
they were
there's so much
available. Yeah.
there's so much crossover in 1976 of all these different cars.
So, and that brings up a point too, because in 76, it's not a red, white, and blue special edition, but you could have got a Dodge Colt Carousel. And the Carousel was a white base car with a blue vinyl roof and a blue and white two-tone interior.
That feels so Mopar. Doesn't feel very Japanese.
Well, it's
That's
the Mopar package that they put on
yeah.
the Colt, right? I mean, the car was a Mitsubishi Galant in 1976, and they came over here, and Dodge was like, "We need to make it a Dodge," so they made it a Dodge by putting on all the packages.
Yeah.
But I like that car, and I would drive it in that form. The 76 is arguably the worst of the Galant Colts because they had the rubber bumper ends on them instead of the full chrome bumper. But I mean, it is what it is. It's fine. But it's a cool package. I think it might have also been available in a blue that tied into the blue vinyl top. But the Dodge Colt Carousel would be my ultimate if I had to pick 76 is what I would drive.
All right.
I'm a Dodge Colt.
Now you might think, well, Andrew will probably pick a 76 Volvo 240, but which is interesting because my parents did have one. But I think I'd go with a 76 FJ40. Just something, just a classic 4x4, but a Japanese version.
I don't know if you can hear me or not, Andrew. I'm going to interrupt you. My headphones just died, which is interesting because they're not a battery headphone. They're plugged into my computer, and it's the second set of headphones that has died, and I cannot hear you right now. So my guess is my headphone jack is the problem because this is a brand new set that I opened 2 weeks ago when the other ones died. So if you can just hold on a half a second and maybe even pause this, I'm going to grab my Bluetooth ones. So be right back.
All right, wouldn't be an off
Crisis,
topic.
yeah, crisis averted. Bluetooth headphones in. It's very strange. This is not that old of a computer, and I tossed away headphones last week because they stopped working. So my assumption is I threw away a perfectly good pair of headphones because this is a brand new pair of headphones that I took out of a box, like a wrapped box, and they're like Scheinhauser, like they're not cheap. So I don't think that they died.
Well,
Whatever.
so yes, my choice was a 76 um, FJ40. Any thoughts on that?
No, that's a good choice. It wasn't probably a super common choice back in the time because Japanese cars were still like just getting their foothold. But I like to think that based on our automotive taste, we may have been ahead of the curve if we were around in the 70s.
Probably.
And we would have been buying Japanese cars maybe because that's maybe we wouldn't have been. Who knows? But I like to think we would be. Your family was a big Volvo Volkswagen family anyway, right? So
Yeah.
you would have been right in there on that. My dad had Triumphs. He didn't have anything Japanese, but he had Triumphs. So there might have been a little bit of an opportunity for us to have learned earlier on about that stuff. Maybe knowing that a V8 Camaro was 120 horsepower and a four-cylinder anything else was about 90 to 100 horsepower. We'd
Yeah,
been like,
exactly.
why do I need the big V8 car? So
Exactly. So one
yeah,
of the
the
things I did.
FJ is a good choice for sure.
hmm So one of the things I did was this is the reason why I should come hang out in the Discord. I asked what other people would have bought in 1976. So we had a couple people, so they would have bought a 912E because there was a special, it was the last, or was a single year only 912. I think the last year of the 912, but it had a
So
Type
the
4 engine.
912 had gone away.
Yep.
And then at the end of that run, they were like, oh, wait, we have all these bodies and we have all these Type 4 engines. We should make a 912E with a fuel injection Type 4 engine. Did the people who say they wanted that, is one of them the people who currently owns that car?
Yes.
That checks out.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of a cool one. And then we have one British listener. So I'll let him give a pass because he said a Mark One Volkswagen Polo. Sure, that wasn't available here in '76, but I'll let it slide.
Oh,
Um,
they weren't celebrating much in 76 anyway over there.
no. Uh, and then I actually there was a couple people and one person on Instagram said a Trans Am because it was the last year of the 455 and you get the 455 all came manual. So that's kind of cool. Now, even though
And
that probably
John,
made uh, maybe 200 horsepower.
they made the most horsepower out of any of the V8 American cars, so it's the right choice. That's uh, buddy John. He actually ran the rally I ran in with the DWA rally last
Yeah.
May.
Yeah.
I met him out there. He drives a Camaro currently, so that makes sense.
Okay.
The other thing on the Instagram that I forgot to bring up was the person who said the best Bicentennial edition was the GM, and it
Mhm.
was the T-Rex dump truck. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's one of those huge like quarry dump trucks, and GM owned T-Rex at the time, and it's all painted up like an American flag.
Oh.
So that is probably the most American thing you could make an American flag out of.
Uh, we had one person say a Lancia Stratos, which I guess you could gray market import in '76. So, all
Yeah,
right.
any car anywhere in the world you could own in 76 because there were no rules.
Yeah. That's why I said when I started looking into it, I was like, this is a really interesting year for cars with like, even though the performance wasn't good, but there's a ton of crossover of what you can get.
I've had to
Um,
defend my position a lot because the majority of the cars that I've owned over the years have been 70s into 80s. And I have loved them despite their general public hate. Like all of my Colts are from the 70s and they're all great cars. Most of my Toyotas are 70s or at least one's an 80, but they're all 70s based cars. Like they're good cars despite the time period. They're fairly efficient because that's what got them the foothold here during that time period, right? Like I've driven my Cressida from here to LA and back and averaged almost 30 miles a gallon on the highway. And that's better than you could say about any 1976 smogged out V8 car. So, and the Colts do the same thing. The Colts are all, high 20s to low 30 miles per gallon driving them around. And they're still fun, just in a different way of a big old V8 muscle car. I think it's just like anything else. If you talk to somebody in period, they lament the thing that's now gone and don't
Hmm.
like the new thing, which is just going to be people looking back at cars from 2026 and being like, Brad and Andrew were lame because they didn't like these cars, which are now cool. So, whatever. I think that's the march of time in general.
Yep. There's also the for race cars, the Spirit of 76 Corvette that ran at Le Mans. That was pretty cool.
That is the best one. Yep. It's like a
Um,
Greenwood kitted, super wide IMSA style, like
hmm.
very cool car. I think you have a diecast of that, do you not? Or do I? One of us does.
Oh, I think we both bought one because they were on sale at the Martin Museum, right?
Yeah,
Was it the
mine's not
Martin
the
Museum?
Spirit of 76 from the Martin Museum. Mine's a blue like 72, but it's pre IMSA
Oh,
stuff. It's stock body car. I think yours might be the American flag one.
well, I'm not in my normal recording space, so I can't go look. But yeah, I think I do have that on the shelf. I forgot about it.
Yep. Yeah,
And
I
then
have a blue one of the same casting.
someone else said they had a Monza at Le Mans in '76 too.
They did
Uh,
a big like silhouette race car style Monza, which is
yeah.
super rad, and I'm way into that.
Yep.
In fact,
Yeah.
AMT or round two models just re-released the AMT Monza model kit that includes that full body kit in it. And I haven't on purpose bought an AMT model kit in a very long time, but I might pick that one up. So
Hmm. Is that why it's called Round Two? Because they re-release stuff?
I don't know. Maybe that's a good theory. But they own all of AMT, Monogram, Revell, Auto World, slot cars, diecasts, plastic kits, 118ths, like pretty much anything from the American market of scale cars is produced by them now. So
Cool.
yeah. They also bring out new things. Like they're responsible for the new Eclipse Talon diecast and the Starion
Oh,
diecast. So
yeah,
so we like them.
we do. Well, that's my patriotic topic for this week was the bicentennial cars because it feels like we really didn't do or manufacturers didn't do anything for the 250 at all.
No,
So
I did some furious Googling and all I could find was the Corvette.
yeah.
And I did find a picture of it after we were talking about it, and it's blue with the white Grand Sport stripe down the middle, but the red hash marks are on the quarter panels instead of the fenders, which I guess makes
Oh,
sense because the engine's back there now.
okay.
So maybe that's why they did that. But
Hmm.
neat looking. This says they're making 250 of them, so they'll all be parked in garages for the next 50 years, and
Forever.
you'll see them rolled out at a car show in 2076. So
Supposedly the other lore I read with the Cadillacs was because they only made 200 and they were supposed to be the last convertible. When they came out with the 84 Eldorado convertible, the owners of the 76 cars apparently tried to sue GM over it because it
okay,
made their cars less valuable because they were not the last Cadillac convertible, which is funny. But
jokes on them. They were worthless anyway.
yeah, but anyway, anything else
Oh,
tonight?
project car updates? Anything? I got a
Oh,
couple quick things.
yeah, I've got
Mercor's
nothing.
gone.
That's right. I did get to see, I waved goodbye to it.
Yeah, you were here when the Mercor left. So Mercor is gone. I still haven't received my money, so I'm a little annoyed. But it's in that like escrow account. Um, and every time I log in, it's like we need more information from you. It's like, but you said you had all the information last time I logged in. And I just had to resubmit the odometer pictures, which I definitely had already submitted because that box was already filled last time I checked. So I don't know what's happening there, but I'm a little annoyed, and they only have a couple more days before I start making angry phone calls because I have plans for that money. The car is gone. I don't know if we even talked about it selling. It's sold, obviously, on Cars and
We
Bids.
did in that episode that's lost now.
Okay, so in the last episode, we discussed it. I did not get what I hoped for. Um, I wasn't looking to make a profit on the car, but it would have been nice to break even, and I did not. I still don't know why it went for the price it went for. And my main argument is the last one that sold to that site was not presented as well, had no undercarriage pictures, no driving videos, and was from Ohio its whole life. So no undercarriage pictures on an Ohio car is sketchy, and it sold for $1,400 more than mine with double the mileage on it. And it had seat covers hiding the seats with no pictures of the condition of the seats under the covers. There was a lot of red flags about that car, and I thought mine would have done at least that, if not a little better. But and if it had, I would have probably come pretty close to breaking even and been a little happier. But I'm glad it's gone. I'm not going to say I didn't like the car, but I didn't love the car, and it was always a problem. So I'm glad it was finally sorted, and we made it work, and there was no lingering issues. So I'm confident in the new owner having a good time with it, unless it's just a Mercor thing that they always die and break. Who knows? Um, but it runs well now, so hopefully he'll have a good time. Um, and hopefully I'll get paid, but it's gone. So watch this space. That particular money is not going to a car. It's going to pay for that air conditioning in the garage and some other bills I've incurred from building the garage. So it's going towards car stuff, but not a new car. But there is a new car in the works. So stay tuned for that. But, and I have been working on the steering and air conditioning. I had everything all set up last night. Have all the right stuff to switch over from R12 to R134 because that massive leak did dump all of the R12 out of the system. So I went to go do it all last night, and I plugged in my vacuum pump, and the motor seized on the vacuum pump. So going to go borrow a vacuum pump this evening.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but
And then we got you a little
definitely still on my
sniffer
process.
for it. So
Yeah, which works. I played with the little Freon sniffer the other day, but there's no pressure in the system right now, so it's not finding any leaks. So I just gave
Mhm.
a little quick, millisecond burst of relieving pressure on one of the valves, and the sniffer went crazy. So it definitely is able to detect the leak when there's a leak.
Mhm.
So that should help. Plus, I bought dye to make sure that I can see where it's leaking out of, and I got a whole big variety pack of the was it Vidion, the green O rings.
Yeah, I don't know how
So
to pronounce it.
hopefully it'll work out. But that's we had a long weekend here, and hopefully I can get that up and running. So that's it, project car stuff. I haven't done a ton.
I haven't touched anything because I haven't been around. So
Yeah, I may
yeah.
have inadvertently figured out the emissions issue with the Eclipse too. Well,
Mhm.
not figured it out, but figured out a major cause because when we got back to the house after using it when you were here, walking around the back of the car, it smells heavily of fuel fumes. So there's probably an evap issue somewhere.
Mm.
So I have that handy anti smoke machine, and I'll see what I can find.
Nice.
My guess is something's plugged or clogged because when you pull off the fuel cap, the pressure release is still there, so it's not like a bad fuel cap or something.
Mhm.
So I gotta do a little more digging into that, but I think that's probably what's going on because it's not leaking fuel actively. It's just fuel like vapor smell.
Yep.
Oh,
All
anyway,
right.
that's where we're at.
All right. That sounds like a podcast to me because it is
Works
hot
for me.
and I'm getting tired. So, as always, follow us on Off Topic Podcasts. Follow us on Off Topic on Instagram. I am Ray Stinger on Instagram. We've got Skill Autocast on Instagram. Uh, I've been posting up some stuff of RC cars I'm working on. The RC boat I've been working on. I'll get back to the Volvo this coming week. Brad, where can they find you?
You find me on Instagram at TSISS350. I have done a few posts on Scale Autocast as well, especially with the drift car. So definitely can find us there and find us ultimately in the Discord, right?
That's right. So keep your cars analog and aim for the roses.